everybody. Welcome to the Good Witch Podcast. We are really excited to be back talking about episode 8 of this season of the show. I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and today I have a special guest. My friend Colleen is here because Georgia and Amy both had things come up. And so Colleen is my co-host on the Francast, which was on Hallmarkies Podcast for a while, and now it's its own show. So please check that out. We would really, really appreciate it if you like The Nanny, which you should. And Colleen, thank you so much for coming on Talking Good Witch.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So your history with the show, have you just started, or?
I'm a late bloomer. I just kind of got into it this season a little bit, and I'm not even watching super regularly, but I'm catching up. I'm starting to pick up a lot of the stuff that's happened, and I have to go back and watch the old ones.
Yeah. You know, I think this is actually a really good season to do that with, because it was kind of a bit of a restart for the show with Grace being gone, Cassie's daughter, and I feel like the show has kind of embraced a little bit more magic than it has in the past. With this, I mean, they've always had curses and other things like that, but usually it's just like a one episode kind of thing, and it's not an extended arc like in this season. And I don't know, it's just it has a little bit of a different feel, and I've really been enjoying it.
I like the characters. I like the sorry to all the Hallmark fans. I like that it's present in the present tense. It's a modern.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see
in 2020.
Yeah.
It's not a period piece. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I enjoy that about it. I like Catherine Ball. I think she's charming. I like. Oh my God, what's her husband's name?
James Denton.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name.
James Denton is very dreamy. There's no doubt about it.
Yes. And I was not a fan of Desperate Housewives. Was that what he was on?
Oh yeah.
I didn't watch that, but I've seen him on some of the Hallmark movies. So I like it. I'm learning. And what's funny is, I just have to say this real quick. The woman that plays Abigail,
Sarah Powers.
Not only was she on Schitt's Creek, which is one of my favorites, but she reminds me so much of a soap actress. Like, she could be this soap actress's little sister from 20 years ago. This woman who used to be on All My Children, whose name was Sky. So when I see her, I think of Sky all the time. So, anyways.
Well, hey, if it works, it works. That's right. That's funny. So you have at the beginning of this episode, we have our chocolate. The king of chocolate has arrived at Grey House. What did you think of that?
I don't know. Was this a new? I mean, let me ask. Was this like a new character, or was this?
I don't recall having seen him before.
He was fine, but I felt like he was a little underwhelming versus some of the other chocolate. Like, I think of Love, Romance, and Chocolate, and that kind of chocolate obsession. And I thought it was just a little. I mean, that wasn't the whole point of it, but. He was fine, but I didn't get that excited about him personally.
But the whole thing with the truth chocolates was kind of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
So they basically, like, it starts out that Cassie is making cupcakes from the Merriwick family chocolate cupcakes, the old recipe, and so she doesn't want to, she's not going to share the recipe, but sneaky Mr. Chocolate King goes and takes the recipe because he's not able to live up to the chocolate heights of his dad.
The family legacy of chocolate.
Yeah, that's right. It was pretty.
That took some guts. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. I mean, they must have eaten quite a few chocolates in this recording, because when you eat something on a show, you end up eating it many times because of the different takes and different stuff, and so it's not usually just the one time. But yeah, so they must have eaten a lot of chocolates and cupcakes in this, but they look pretty good. The cupcakes look yummy. Maybe I was just hungry.
They did look good. I love chocolate. I'm a sweet holic, but
me too.
Have you been to Belgium? I've been to
I
Belgium.
never have. I've been to Europe before when I was a teenager, but I've never been to I've never been to Belgium.
Yeah, I've been to Brussels, and it was just chocolate everywhere. So it's kind of like that other movie we were talking about, Love, Romance, and Chocolate. But every time I see a chocolate show, anything to do with chocolate.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Love, Romance, and Chocolates because I actually interviewed Will Kemp today. It won't air for a couple of weeks, but it's fresh on my mind.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something to look forward to.
So yeah, I mean, there's more to the world than Godiva. As good as Godiva is, there's so many other varieties out there that are just fabulous.
Yeah. I had a lot of good chocolate when I went to Switzerland as a teenager. They had good chocolate
that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so so Joy and her friend are dissolving they're just going to dissolve their business.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit confused about what this business was.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
I was gonna ask you, what is it?
I was kind of like, what is this? I don't know. Maybe they explained it. I wish that Georgia was here because she picks up on those kind of things quite well. But yeah, so there's this feud between Joy and her friend.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be dissolving their business, I guess. The friend is staying at Grey House, and Joy has been a huge win, I think, on this season. I really like the actress Caparel. She's been great, and I just think that I just really liked her presence on the show. I think she's been really good, and especially since they lost Grace, I think that she was a very good ad.
Mm-hmm. I like her a lot. I think she's very enjoyable, but I actually did try to understand what the business was. I even rewound and watched again, and I couldn't figure it out. So I don't think it's just us.
Okay, good.
Although Georgia may have like magic ears and eyes that I just couldn't see. I could not find them.
I was like, what is this business? But yeah, I wish that Carter was in this episode. He's not, but I absolutely love Joy and Carter and Jason Diaz, who was on our show this week. I just think that he is super charming and has huge potential. If you haven't listened to the interview, you totally should. I would recommend watching the interview because I think he has huge star potential, and I would love for them to do a movie with him and Kat. I think that a Hallmark movie with them would be super fun.
I listened to it, but I need to watch it.
Yeah,
a lot of the things I listen to while I'm working, so it makes my life a little more enjoyable, my work life.
That makes me feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can't really watch them, because I'm
right
at work. But yeah. I enjoyed it.
I think he is extremely handsome and just great. And so I wish he'd gotten in this episode, but I was too busy with her and her friend. But then you have this new hospital CEO coming in that's a big planner, and he says he's going to make things happen, and he comes up to bat against Sam. They come to friction together because Sam kind of wants to be in the discussion about these hirings, and he thinks he should have been consulted. There's a new orthopedic surgeon who's hired, and Sam doesn't like him, doesn't think he's a good fit for the hospital. And I don't know, what do you think about that?
Well, without giving too much away, I'm familiar with hospital work, and I don't work in patient care, but they don't work like that. That's just not how life is. Yes, I mean, I feel like he was. I guess I'm trying to say it's a big deal position, and the head of surgery, chief of staff, should have the ultimate say in that person because the chemistry is a big deal.
Yeah. So
I agreed with Sam in that respect. Yeah, I didn't agree with the administrator. I thought he was a little bit too assertive for my taste.
Yeah, I mean, he was verging on being a bad man at business. I'm in Hallmark here.
Yes, and you're not supposed to be like that in hospitals. That's
No.
just not good behavior when patients are involved.
Plus, especially because what does it cost you? I mean, really, to like have a sit down, even if you don't go with the opinion of your surgeon, of the other people that you have already working for you, what does it cost you to, talk to them for 20 minutes, or whatever, make them feel heard, make them feel like they were part of the decision. I mean, that's good leadership.
I've never thought that was a good choice ever to not include. Yeah. I mean, I was just asked this today I have to sit in on a Zoom interview tomorrow for somebody. So, right. That's good. The manager wants you involved to interview other people and to kind of see a fit, because chemistry is huge. And I'm grateful where I work that my team has great chemistry, but
right.
I don't want to mess the dynamic up. And it's the same thing in healthcare, especially when you're doing life-saving things.
Yeah, like if I was going to add a new co-host to the show, I'm not just going to go ahead and do it without asking the existing host, what do you think? Right. I've done it every single time. What do you think of this person? Do you think it would be a good fit? And if they're all like, no, then I'm not going to do it. Exactly. Even if I think it's a good idea.
Exactly.
Because it's a group experience. And so, yeah, I thought it was interesting. And I think they've done a pretty good job, considering almost all of Sam's conflict in the past has all been around Nick, or whether he was going to propose to Cassie. And so they've had to kind of make him have more conflict that was just his own this season. And I think they've done a pretty good job with that.
Right. And his position, I mean, his role, his career, it just riddled. There's so many options to do things like that. I mean, it's just such an important job. You have to explore that's area of his life a little more.
Yeah. What did you think of Martha, champion bowler? That was exciting.
That was cute. I don't know anyone who's ever bowled perfect. I don't think I've ever been around anybody. I mean, and I don't know if you grew up with bowling on TV. We used to watch bowling on Saturdays. I think my parents. There was like pro bowling on ABC on Saturday afternoons, I believe, when I was younger.
So funny. I didn't even know that was. I mean,
it was a real thing.
That's on network, huh?
It was. I believe it was ABC, like Saturday afternoon sports or something. And so
that's funny.
I wasn't really into it. I've enjoyed bowling myself, but I've never seen anyone in person bowl a perfect game or close to it. So that was kind of fun, and it was just kind of a cute little side thing.
Yeah, it was cute. And I mean, I every once in a while I'll roll a good game every once in a while, but for the most part I'm a terrible bowler.
Yes, me too. I'm not good. I mean, if I crack 100, maybe 120, that's probably about the best I'll ever do. I think that's the top game.
Yeah, agreed. Me too. And so that was fun to see Martha just, for the most part, just kind of have some joy after after she just had the conflict with her daughter-in-law, and so her just crushing it in bowling was fun.
That was cute. I enjoyed that.
And George saying he wants some zip in his life, and then he goes off bowling. It was cute. It was really cute.
Bowling leagues are kind of still big business. Well, I don't know about right now, but I used to know a lot of people back home where I grew up in Ohio that were bowlers.
It's a big Midwest thing.
Yeah, definitely.
In India, when I served my mission in Indiana, like those people, because we tried to make appointments, they'd be like, no, I'm my bowling league, and that was sacred time. You did not try to interrupt someone's bowling.
It was a really big deal.
Yeah. And so what do you think about Abigail and this friend who she's made a marriage pact with?
I mean, I thought it was cute. And I'm glad it didn't go too far, but I also thought it went too far, if that makes sense. Like, I'm glad they stopped it where he did, but I was half wondering what was going to be the next step. Like, was he really going to propose? The say anything thing was a little cheesy. The little homage to say anything with the cell phone and the bag of hoagies. Was that what they were?
Yeah.
It was cute, but yeah, I thought it went a tiny bit too far. But that, like I said, it could have been worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of a fun plot element, but it's since we know it would have been more fun if she had been like truly single,
right?
But I guess you
She's
did
not.
get Donovan getting kind of jealous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that was
because she's
the point
single,
of it,
but she's not like really single. So
yeah,
his
but it was
sort of
cute.
antics.
It was cute. I mean, it was fine. The actor was fine. I don't recognize. Maybe I do recognize.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him either.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, and there's this whole debate between Joy and her friend about how to drink hot chocolate. That, with mini marshmallows. Joy puts a vanilla bean in her hot chocolate, so that's like wild and crazy.
Well, what do you do with your hot chocolate? Do you drink hot chocolate?
I do drink hot chocolate.
How do you like your hot chocolate?
I mean, I'm a Hallmark fan. Of course, I drink hot chocolate. No. I mean, ideally, I think I'd want to have whipped cream if I could have anything.
Thank you. I'm so happy. That's my first choice too. I don't like marshmallows.
I like marshmallows, but yeah, whipped cream is just delicious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to be Cool Whip, not Ready Whip. It needs to be the Cool Whip out of the tub. That's my opinion. For me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I would have. Let me think. Ideally, I would have fresh whipped cream.
Well, okay.
And then, I think I might say the tub, and then the squirt. I was writing whipped creams.
That's so funny.
And then I would rather have mini marshmallows though than big marshmallows.
Yeah.
Because they would just dissolve faster, so more yummy.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I will drink them if they're in hot chocolate, but I'm not a big marshmallowy person, period. I don't like s'mores that much. I can eat the s'more without the marshmallow. Give me the chocolate and the graham cracker. I don't need the rest.
Well, you and Georgia would agree there. Both of you are the same. I mean, and vanilla bean is yummy, but I don't think I feel like the chocolate would kind of overtake the vanilla. So it's such an expensive item that I wouldn't want to put it in vanilla. I mean,
I've never actually purchased vanilla bean. I've only used vanilla extract. So
yeah, I've actually made my own vanilla extract before. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty fun. You take a kind of the reason why I made it was because one of our guests had at a vacation home that we had. My dad had me run. Gave us this big bottle of vodka, and I don't drink. He was from Russia, and he was like, here. And so I was like, what do I do with this big bottle of vodka? And then I found out how you could make your own vanilla. And so that's, it's really easy. You just have alcohol, and then you have the vanilla bean pods, and you just slice them in two, and then let them soak for, I think, like 2 weeks, and you got vanilla.
I did not know that. Yeah. I learned something new. I did not expect to learn. That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it makes for a nice like Christmas gift or something like that.
Oh, that's I did not know that, because I've heard of vanilla vodka before. Like they sell vanilla vodka. Right. Which I've never tried, but
that's probably just flavored.
Yeah, that's probably not very good, because I want to say it won't mask the bitterness of vodka. But
probably not.
Not that I drink vodka very often. I do not, just so you know.
That's right.
But yeah, that's a lot. But that's cool.
So then there's this whole plot element of Adam wants to go on a mission trip with Stephanie. How long do you think this mission trip is supposed to be?
I don't know, because he was kind of non-committal about hoping he would come back, which I thought was kind of a surprising thing to say.
It's like most mission trips are like a couple weeks, aren't they? I mean, I don't know. I don't, because my church does missionary work different than typical.
Yours is around a year, right?
It's about 20 months to a year. 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only missions I've heard about, because I grew up Catholic, was like, going to El Salvador and places.
Yeah.
And I thought they were just a couple of weeks.
And like, if it was just a couple of weeks, I don't understand why Stephanie wouldn't want to go.
Right. I don't understand.
Like, she's making it seem like it's this huge commitment to go on the mission trip. But then so that made me think, well, maybe he's saying he wants to go for longer. Maybe this is like a job. 6 months, a year, maybe longer. Because that's the way Stephanie was acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't feel like it was going to be something where you run and you go and come back quickly. It just didn't. I didn't get that vibe.
And so it kind of made me feel like, are they writing him out of the show?
I don't know.
Or is there going to be some kind of last minute proposal or something like that?
Yeah, there's probably going to be some cliffhanger. Is it 2 episodes left?
Yeah, only 2 episodes left.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something in the next episode. I'm sure there'll be something by the end that we'll know something. Whether it's good or not, or it's a cliffhanger, it's to be determined, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be getting better. There's a character named Ben that also dated Stephanie, and they didn't even give him a sign-off at all. He was just gone. And I was like, oh, he was the best. I still feel sad about that. So I guess Adam gets what Ben didn't get, so that makes me bitter. But and I swear there was a scene in this episode where it looked like they had the red evergreen truck. I was like, ooh, how'd they get that red truck?
Oh, that's funny. You know, funny you mentioned that really quick. Last night I was looking for a new mask. I'm on the hunt for some new masks since I think we're going to be wearing them for a while. And I went on Etsy and they had Christmas masks. Just I know there's the Hallmark masks, but I was on Etsy and they had little trucks on there.
Really?
With Christmas trees.
You can get any of our merch designs with masks. So
I know if I'm going to get a mask, I'm going to get that kind of mask, I'm going to get one of yours. But I was just looking for something like a floral or something. You know?
Yeah.
Still didn't find one, but
but
yeah, I saw that truck on a mask with I did see a Christmas tree.
Oh, really?
Which was hysterical.
That's funny. Yeah, people are planning ahead. It's very good. We have artist Jessica Miller design masks. It's very exciting. Yes. And so then we have the King of Chocolate stealing the recipe. He's not able to take a photo of it with his phone. It blacks out, which I thought was kind of clever. And then so he tears the page out of the cookbook, but the Cassie is right there. She obviously sees him.
Yes.
But
that was
good. She pretends, and she gives him kind of a little speech about him and his dad and being himself and everything. And so then Joy gives her friend the truth chocolates, and then her friend apologizes. So I don't know how much of an apology it is with the truth chocolates, but nevertheless, she seems happy with it. Cassie gives this chocolate guy a picture of his father, and try to remind him of who he is, and then you have Abigail's friend, like you said, with the hoagies. He brings her a sandwich, which is probably the way to my heart. If you bring me, there's a few things I love more than like a really great sandwich, like really well made.
Oh, really?
I love a good sandwich. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could bring me some Chinese food.
That's the way to your heart.
Or a really good piece of pizza, or
I like those too, but I love a good sandwich. I really do.
That's cool.
And she says, I miss hanging out with you, miss being friends. And so then the who was the Geekend Warriors? Was that the bowling or the chocolate?
It's the trivia game.
Oh, the trivia game. Yeah. I forgot about the trivia game.
That was funny.
That was funny. There's the Geekend Warriors and Mount Cleverest, which I thought was funny.
But the name of the trivia, the Wizard of Oz. You know, it's funny. I know it was like a take on the Wizard of Oz because they kept mentioning the Yellow Brick Road and all that, but it made me think of something completely different because there wasn't actually, you know, Ozzy Osbourne. He had an album many moons ago called Blizzard of Oz. And that was what I thought of when I thought of Blizzard of Oz. And I think of the Wizard of Oz. I thought of Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah, that's funny.
That guy was a little, woo, he was a lot.
He was a lot of personality.
Yes.
So Martha has almost had a perfect game. And just before her last shot, the power goes out in the building. And so she has to wait. And so it's like ice in the player here. I mean, this is bad. And so she is just waiting. And then you have a scene with Joy. She rips up the contract with her friend. She's not going to do it. And she basically says, like, lady, do you want a job? Do you want to work? And so I guess, I mean, I'm assuming she's going to be on more than one episode. Probably through the finale, I would think.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. And then Abigail gives the truth chocolate, and he says, I just realized I don't want to marry you either. So they don't want to marry each other. So.
I know.
And then the Martha, she says she needs the crowds for her bowling. She's not a good social distancer. I do think Martha would be terrible. She'd be terrible in quarantine.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
If they work that into next season as a plot element, which I hope they do, that would be hilarious to see Martha. Like Martha.
That would actually be a good idea. Yeah.
Especially because I know how bad Catherine Disher is at social networking and stuff. Like she hates all of that stuff, and so it could be really funny.
She'd be in kind of an agony situation.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult.
Yeah. And so the Chocolate King, he wins, but then he says, I don't deserve my throne. I can't do what my father did. He admits he stole the recipe. And so I guess the whole group is kind of aware of what he's talking about, because the way that the episode was done, it was as if Cassie was the only one who really knew. But the way that they acted it when he was giving the speech was that everyone was aware of kind of what the heck he was talking about.
So
yeah,
I got that impression.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I assumed it was really snowing outside. Can I assume that?
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just new, like being really naive or moronic, or just don't know. But why was it outside?
Yeah, I mean,
why was that little festival outside in the snow? I know it wasn't heavy snow, but what was the point of that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they just wanted to make the actor suffer. I don't know. It'd be cold. I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. And so then you have Sam playing basketball with his new boss, and he tells him, you're playing fast but not smart, and then just don't get in my way is what he says. So there's definitely still tension there, so I'm sure we'll see that in the next few episodes.
I was going to say that's not over.
Yeah,
there's something else that's going to happen there.
So Joy and her friend are going to be working together. Adam is going to go on the mission trip, and then we get a triumphant bowl from Martha. So a lot kind of going on. And then we find out that Donovan has cracked the code, but he wasn't going to tell Abigail. She didn't want to worry her. And but they found him, and Sam found a message in the weather vane. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens next with that. And
definitely.
In the preview for next week, there's like, so it looks like there's going to be a little like vacation, a little field trip to Chicago. So that's exciting.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and you see Adam doing the pros and cons of going on the mission trip. Because
there's more to that. So I'm so curious how that's going to play out in the next 2 weeks, because there's a lot more to that than we see, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we never have been that big of fans of Adam on the podcast as a character. And so if you were to be done,
you're not that upset.
wouldn't be too
they can
too
just
hard.
Bring your guy on. He could be on our next season. He could be a regular. Really a regular. You're the new guy, the one you just interviewed.
Yeah, having Carter on.
Carter would be great.
And bring back Ben. Bring back Ben. He was the best for Stephanie. But yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything in the episode. I think it was a fun episode. It was a little bit of a sort of maybe more of a filler episode to get us to this final 2 episodes. But the chocolate parts was a fun sort of conceit for the episode, and Martha bowling was fun. I enjoyed that, and it had nice moments for all the characters. I think it was a solid episode.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was a good one.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming and breaking it down with me. I really appreciate it. And let us know, if you're listening, what you thought of this episode. There was a lot going on. So if we got anything wrong, just let us know, or if we missed something.
If somebody knows what the business is, can you tell us?
Yeah, sorry. Please let us know. And and let us know your thoughts on the episode and what you think is going to be happening in the next 2 episodes. So yeah, we're almost done. It's kind of crazy because once these 2 episodes are done, we will be, who knows how long, but we will be done covering Hallmark TV for a while. And we've had a stretch, for a long time. Aside from during Christmas, which there's so much to cover then, but we've had a stretch for quite a while of covering the TV show. So it's going to be very interesting to see, to just not have that as a weekly part of my life. But yeah, 2 weeks left. So Very good. Well, Colleen, if people want to follow you, how can they do that?
Yeah, I am on Twitter and Instagram at Lily44094.
Great. And make sure you guys follow the Francast. It's really fun. All you have to do is just look it up. We'll have all the information in the description section, but it's anywhere you listen to podcasts is the Francast, and it's really fun. We have a blast doing it every week.
Great.
Yeah. And you can follow the Francast podcast, Francast 14. So check that out. And also you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. This week I had a special female film critic panel, which I'm really, really proud of, where we talked about our experiences being female film critics. And so I'd love if you checked that out. We also, like I said earlier, we have our interview with Jason this week, which is really good, and I loved it. And so make sure to check that out if you're a Good Witch fan. And if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. And if you're listening on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which Colleen is a member of and is amazing. And we love talking about the shows and other movies and all kinds of things. So please check that out. It really helps us out. It can be as low as $2 a month. And then we also have our merch store, which has Good Witch inspired merch. And it's really fun, really cute. We have our new shirt for Hallmarkies for Diversity to try to encourage diverse content on these movies and shows, because that's important to us. So we would love for you to check that out. So thank you very much, Colleen. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And we'll talk next week. We'll talk to you all later. Bye, everybody. Bye.